I'm going to show you a video. It's less than 2 minutes. And then we'll take a few lessons from there and I'll build on it. Stop. I think the idea is that you get the message. Now, if I had a lot of time and I pass the microphone around, I'm sure you've already taken like lessons from many lessons you can get from here. Because I don't have that time, I'm just going to point out a few of them. Now, as you saw in the video, so basically, there's food somewhere. And then there are many of these dogs trying to get to the food. See, this is the capitalist system. Did you notice that table was not designed to take all those dogs? There's no way all of them will get to that table. And the access to the table was made unnecessarily complicated. It is beyond your natural reach. You must hack the system. There's a how for getting to that table. If you don't know the how, it doesn't matter how hard you try. Do you see the dog trying to jump? It's not possible. You can't get there. That's why Ecclesiastes 10:15 said, the labor of fools, wearieth them. Why? They say how they don't know. Many of us as Christians, we are laboring very hard. Hard work is not our problem. We are working and trying very, very hard. But they say how that runs the system. Yes, because you know it not how to go to the city. For every city, they say how to enter it. If you don't know the how, you will labor and labor and labor. So many of us, we are actually working hard. And it doesn't matter how hard you work, if you don't follow the pattern, that pathway that was created there, and you go and try, you will not be able to get to that food that is there, which is what everybody wants to get there. Now, opportunity, wealth, and success. Because when they opened that place, they didn't put any dog's name on the table, that this is the person that will get here. Meaning, anybody stood equal chance of getting there. But only the ones who understood how to get there were able to get there. So there was no favorite, there was no corruption. There was no favoritism saying, no, they have rigged it for this one. Maybe somebody told the dog before coming out how to get there. We don't know. Sometimes that works too. And wherever they're getting that information from, we also need to know how to get the information, how to hack the system and rig it. But you see, this is for me one of the biggest lessons in this video. We don't set the rules and the principles of how these things work. But somehow, they are binding on us. We have to go into the world and run by these principles. So it's left to us now to find what are the loopholes in the system that we can exploit. You don't decide how it works. But in a way, you have to still play according to those rules. There's a way this economic system of the world is designed. Many of us met it. In fact, if you arrive the earth today, let's assume, all of us were born and we grew and we learned system. I'm going to talk about that shortly, to how our learning system has programmed and colonized our mindsets. But let's assume you didn't even go through any growing up experience. You just landed today from space, bam, and landed in Lagos. There are some lessons you will learn very hard, very fast. Number one is that initially you know something is wrong, but after a while you get hungry because you're a human being. And when you get hungry, You will see people eating food, but you'll be wondering, how are they getting this food? So you see somebody go to a shop and collect a plate of rice. You go there and say, give me rice. And what would they ask you? But you came from space. You didn't come with any money. So how do you get this food? Now, just to let you understand that there's an economic system that you did not design. Everything you want needs money. That money, there are rules governing the money. Yes, our central banks print money, but there are some basic rules governing money. Rule number 1 is that the only money that can enter your pocket is money that was forced in somebody else's pocket. You can't print your own. That would be forgery. You can't go and break the bank and take it. That would be stealing. So there has to be a way. So you now have to start figuring out, I need food, but I don't have money. How does money come to me legitimately so that I can exchange it for food? You see, many of us, as simple as this economics is, we've not understood it. And so somehow we find people who are just struggling and expecting some things to work because they've not understood the system. That's why the labor of foolish wearieth them. Understand? But the more you observe, you start picking up lessons. Okay, this guy that bought the food, let me follow him back and see where he came from. Oh, this guy went to a place where he was carrying blocks. After he carried 50 blocks, they gave him money. Went to go and buy food. Meaning if I carry 50 blocks, they will give me money. I can buy food. Now you have learned one lesson. Or you will see that this guy goes to a place where he takes water, ties them in nylon, hangs along the bus stop, and people collect the water and give him money. He can take it to go and collect food. You understand this way the system works. Now, that is an economic system within design. But let me show you what this system has become today. Please show me that pyramid. The global wealth pyramid. This is how the wealth of the earth is distributed. I hope you can see that triangle. One of my friends said the whole world is a pyramid scheme. It is designed to be so. You see that top? There has to be a top. And Pastor kept mentioning, that says, Pastor made my work easy. Yes, they kept talking about that 1%, that 10% yesterday. This is the 1%, that top blue there. But look at something there. Look at a few lessons. The bottom part of the world, this is 2021, 55% of the population of the world have access to only 1.3% of the wealth in the world. That is the bottom class. When you even add the middle class, which is 32%, combining 88%, how much percentage do they have of wealth combined? Okay, you can't see the slides very well. So the 88% of the world combined controls only 15% of the resources in the world. That small triangle up, the top 12%, they control 85%. Do you get it? 88% of the population are at the bottom, scrambling for 15% of the resources. There is a top class, an 11%, and a 1%. In fact, if you look at it, the 11% has 39%, but that 1% alone controls 45% of the wealth in the world. Now, that is the way it is designed. That is the rule. There are more people at the bottom than at the top. And it's not just, every system is designed that way. Every industry, every domain is designed that way. More people at the bottom, fewer at the top. And it is designed that way because there has to be a bottom for there to be a top. Please, if you understand this, it's going to be very important. Now, a lot of people just play at the bottom. And you see, at the bottom, that's where we struggle. At the top, there's no struggle. There's no scarcity. The scarcity we experience in the world is artificial. The nature of the earth is abundance. What God designed into the earth is abundance. Scarcity is an artificial system to ensure that some people stay at the bottom. So in your industry, first lesson I take here from me is, every industry is designed like this. I don't know where you're playing. Management, consulting, construction, transportation. It's designed the same way. There are more players at the bottom, few at the top. At the ground, that's where we fight. At the top, they don't fight because there's enough to go around. Look at politics. Have you seen politics? Do you know that the party candidates for the two parties that are fighting them, that people are killing on the streets, they are drinking champagne together in the evening? Because you understand that, look, at the top, we have enough. Now, when I say every industry is designed this way, every sector is designed that way. Look at something. Look at the next graph, please. This is 2023 profit report of Nigerian banks. I don't know if they've published 2024 yet, but 2023, profit after tax. Zenith Bank made how much? 676 billion naira. Fidelity made how much? Jai's Bank made how much? Now, they are all profitable banks, so billion is a lot of money, any day, anytime. But look at the level of the billions. What industry are they all in? Meaning you can actually be in the same industry, but playing at different levels. I'm telling you why exponential growth is important. You can enter a space and say, well, we made profit. So the Jai's Bank CEO will come out and say, I'm a bank CEO, and to shareholders, we made profit. But in that same industry, somebody else is declaring 99, and somebody else is declaring 600. Let me show you another one. Show me the next graph. These are two phones, sales of phones. 2023 revenues. The iPhone sold 199 billion US dollars worth of phones. Techno sold how many? What? 2.5 billions. Now, like I said, $1 billion is $1 billion. However, at that pace, it will take Techno 79 years of sales to make what iPhone makes. And this is not Apple revenue. This is iPhone revenue. No MacBook, no iPad, no, just the phone. So when I say that you can have two people, they took off at the same time. After 5 steps, one is at 5 meters, one is at 64 meters. By 6 steps, the further they go, the wider it becomes. I have a friend who says it this way, and I'm quoting him. He says, life is too short to grow organically. You must find a system for speeding up growth. Because if you grow at natural pace, by the time you are 45, you ask yourself, what have I done? There is a system that actually runs that allows you to move very, very fast. Basic principle here is you can choose at what level you want to play. What God has given us is the power of choice. Nobody was born and they said this person will be at the bottom. Nobody was born and said this person will end up at the top. Anybody can get to that 1%. But not everybody will get to the 1%. Can and will. Pastor said yesterday, even prophecy has condition. So when God says, this is what I will do, there is still a dependency factor. So when this year we say, you will make it to the top of your industry, it's not absolute. There are things you need to know, you need to understand. So we can be in the same industry, playing at different levels. And it is not because God loves one more than the other. It is because one has discovered the how. The other one has discovered nothing. Sometimes we may be praying very hard. And I'm going to show you a little bit down the line. So